राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय 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 राम जय जय राम ओम Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. When we are functioning as an individual, that means we think, we are the planet, we are the deciding entities, we are the enjoyers, we are the sufferers. So long as we have this, it is very difficult for us to understand the relevance of divine will. We have faith in the words of the Masters. We have heard this many a times, that it is only His will that works. Immediately after that, after hearing this, it doesn't stay with us. Because individuality is so strong that we forget about it. We have now keep on thinking, what is it that I should make, I should do? To slowly or gradually understand that it is His will that prevails. Throughout our life, we have been taught through experience that everything has not gone according to what we have planned, or what we have foreseen, or what we expected. Some are according to that, some are not according to that. We attributed the cause to the external factors. somebody behaved like this, somebody caused me to lose this, like that. External factors only we were bringing. Even though we may be going to ashram, temple, we are doing all these things, we were not bringing this dimension at all, in spite of the fact that we have been hearing. Let us hear about what Papa says about this individual will, and it might help us. What is the relation between the individual's free will and the divine will? Papa, the individual's free will is nothing but the feeling I am the doer. This idea of doership is, however, entirely false. For God alone is the sole doer in us and everywhere about us. When we realize this truth, the theory of free will is bound to be a myth. Truly, we are merely instruments of the divine power, and that power activates us in all manner of ways. It is when we are conscious of this working of the divine power that we attain perfect freedom and peace. Then we realize that God is all in all, and that by His power and will alone everything happens. Man is bound by many desires, hopes, expectations. Within these he is caught as in a cage, which is false. In truth, there is only one divine power that pervades everywhere, which is responsible for all changes, movements, activities in the world. The ego sense rises out of ignorance of this universal truth. When man recognizes this truth, he will realize that as an individual separate from others, he is a myth, and that the divine alone exists in him and others. Until he recognizes this, he is sure to remain sunk in misery and bondage. So the first line is, individual's free will is nothing but the feeling I am the doer. So though we keep on asserting to ourselves that I am the doer, when somebody talks about anything, we will immediately say, yes, I have done this, I have planned like this, I will go there. But as a spiritual aspirant, suppose we try during our past moments, whether the me, the present me can exist by itself. Only by going within, we may be able to find some clues to this question. We believe in the words of the masters. They all in one voice say that God alone is. To us, it is only a statement of somebody. Because our sense of individuality is dominating all our thoughts, words and deeds. So the fundamental question a spiritual aspirant faces is this problem. How do we say that we should have constant God remembrance? That is why we are still struggling in spite of Ramanam chanting. Because this is not clear to us. In one of his talks he said, as long as one feels that he is chanting the name, even if he does it for 100 years, but even lakhs of times if he repeats, he will not be able to. Even if he repeats 100 years, he will be like that. Blunt statement. Not to discourage us and not to discourage us or to feel dispirited over whatever we are doing. But he is cautioning us. That particular word, comes back to us often. If I feel I am chanting the name, that means that when I chant, when I think, when I talk, when I do, first let me see when I chant. How is it possible for me to chant? If he is not there in the form of life, if he is not there in the form of awareness, if he is not there in the form of that name, how can we chant? So slowly we try, For all purposes, outwardly we say we are chanting. We don't have to imitate the so-and-so is chanting. We don't have to bring in the third person. If it comes by itself, okay. We don't struggle. But we can say, previously this confusion was there. Because Papa started talking in third persons. Everybody thought initially they will also try. But it will not stay. So when we were going deeper and deeper and deeper into it, and then what we see now, so when suppose we are working for a company, when we go for orders, we go to the buyer, and after persuading him to give us an order, he will say, can you supply 100 of these products? Suppose we have already back orders, and if we find it difficult to honor, the spontaneous reaction will be, I don't think I will be able to supply. Here, he doesn't mean the individual. In court, Supreme Court or High Court, when you see, when the government is, government's part, the AG, Solicitor General appears, for example. Or when a client goes there, he is represented by a lawyer. The court will ask, why have you mentioned like this? When the court says you, the court doesn't mean that individual. Because he represents either government or a party. And this person also replies in the same tone. You give me 1 more week for me filing me the affidavit, something like that. Not that personally. So even while retaining the first person, we can still not identify ourselves with the first person. So when we chant, when somebody says you are chanting, we need not immediately feel, oh, I have come there. No, God makes them to chant, say like that, okay, it's all right. He is making me to chant. The same God is telling them to, just to make me know that He is making me to chant. He is asking through somebody, say, your chanting was wonderful. So every time, under with the chanting, let us forget about our all thoughts, words and deeds. We are all votaries of Ram now. So when we chant, why not we try this? This simple truth. It is not a tall talk, it is not a thing we have to struggle to understand. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. This mantra, I did not. The so-called present me did not bring out this mantra. And the so-called me is not in any way responsible even for the tune. There are different tunes. Then the so-called me can repeat the name only if the life force is there. The so-called me can repeat it and enjoy it only when it consciously repeats. Where from that the aspect of consciousness comes. Whole soul. So like that during the chanting time, half an hour chanting time, suppose in one chanting we take out. and then we start plumbing deep within. Will it not lead us to the source because of which the chanting is being done? Nowadays it is becoming clear when Papa says Nama is enough, there is no other sadhana is enough. We were wondering why. But now it is becoming clear. If we go deeper and deeper into the Nama chanting, that effort will link us to the power because of which the chanting takes place. And not only it is limited to chanting, that power is there for thinking, that power is there for doing, that power is there for talking, So in order to get ourselves connected or linked with that power, easiest means is chanting because it is devoid of all other distractions or disturbances. We were just reading Passage to Divinity. So there, Chandrasekhar Rao, he explains that in spite of the fact that a friend came forward to relieve or release Papa from the financial problems the company was facing, Papa did not compromise, did not feel satisfied with that. He was very clear about this, and he used only the chanting. And we all know where it. We will just read out that portion. We are trying to understand how chanting enables one to get himself connected with the power behind the chanting. And once we get a clue, a glimpse, a hint, something approximate, then we will be able to plumb deep. Because otherwise these life forms, because of which the words are coming, it is difficult to identify as a separate being. So how can we do that? It is being the very subject. The subject cannot know itself. The subject can only know an object. So unfortunately we have treated God as an object and we are pursuing. It will never be a success. Because he is the very subject who is propelling, who is articulating, who is behind everything. So this way, he says, and what was the background? But slowly and imperceptibly the external circumstances were helping Vittal Rao's religious inclination to become deeper and a spirit of dispassion to gain an added strength and impetus. Every evening, he spent an hour at the house of Sitaram Rao, whose children would be engaged in bhajan before the image of Lord Krishna. During the bhajan, Vittal Rao would lose himself in a blissful state of self-forgetfulness. He now commenced reading afresh. Previously he would have read, but now afresh. The lofty teachings of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, the works of Swami Vivekananda, Swami Ramtirtha, and as well as other religious books like the Yoga Vasishta, with an intense interest. These words seemed now to unveil to him a deeper meaning and significance than they ever did before, and had the effect of accelerating the speed of the spiritual evolution that was subtly taking place within him. Yoga Vasishta, Swami Ramdas has many teaching, It has come out in the form of 7 volumes in Roots of God Realization. Fiery speech, very inspiring speech. Every time it will direct your attention to the indwelling reality. The Papa was not reading it just like we read. Every time when he read, he was assimilating it. That's why he said, these words seemed now to unveil to him a deeper meaning and significance than they ever did before, and had the effect of accelerating the speed of the spiritual evolution that was subtly taking place within him. It was at this time Vittal Rao started chanting the Lord's name. So the proper background was there. The concept was becoming clearer and clearer. The preparatory steps were becoming clearer and clearer. All those things accelerated. And the repetition of the name brought him great mental peace and joy. He kept up a ceaseless flow and blessed name on his tongue, and its humming sound would automatically issue from his lips even when he was at work or walking in streets. He is behind, see now in the next para we will find any other person in his place would have continued as Vittal Rao only. But he was very clear that it was he who is behind. That is why, even though this temporary rescue, Providence to the rescue, the Providence came to the rescue. It was not accepted in the way in which normally everybody will accept. The affairs of Sitaram Vittal Company, there was a company and it was functioning, were plunging deeper and deeper into a quagmire of financial liabilities. Creditors all round were pressing Vittal Rao for settlement of their dues. It seemed that only Providence could rescue him now from the impending crash and disaster. Severity, But the Lord's mercy is provided. One day, a gentleman came to see Vittal Rao at his house, where he was carrying on his dying work. This gentleman was a well-to-do lawyer of Mangalore and had only recently given up his practice at the bar. In answer to Mahatmaji's call to boycott the law course, he took a sudden liking for Vittal Rao, and before their talk had proceeded far, he offered to join him as a partner in his business. Vittal Rao placed before him a true and complete picture of the company's state of affairs, and frankly told him that to join the business at this juncture was tantamount to sharing the deep hole that he himself was then in. Then he will also lose. But the friend was not to be dissuaded, and he made immediate arrangements to become a partner in the firm. Besides liquidating all the company's liabilities, he invested a pretty big sum in erecting 40 hand looms for the manufacture of Qadar. Later on, he erected a shed also to house these looms. From the time he came in as a partner, he was looking after the business at the shop, and Vittal Rao was managing the handloom establishment. Now this is the most important. Anybody in Papa's Vittal Rao's position would have immediately accepted his gaze, and God has helped me, That's all. And would have carried on the same. But here you see, but things for Vittal Rao were moving rather fast. Although his new partner was all kindness and saw to it that Vittal Rao's household did not lack anything, Vittal Rao's mind was from day to day running fast in the direction of God. The Lord's name was continuously working on his tongue. He gave up the night meal and other petty comforts of the body. His sadhana evoked remonstrances all around. He started spending a greater part of the nights in the repetition of the name. Rukmabai became thoroughly frightened at the strange turn her husband's life was rapidly taking now. No persuasion, appeal, protest, either from her or from his child, could induce him to alter the course he was now made to follow. For this is very important. Because he felt very strongly that he was set upon his path by the greatest power, the highest power, which he was struggling to attain and realize. So from that moment he was very clear. It was God who was bringing this relief, God who was motivating him to become more and more dispassionate, the Vairagya in him. It was God who was making him to chant the name. So all these days Papa has been trying us to make our chanting more and more effective. That is why he sets before us various points, again and again, repeating the same. Suppose we want to take up some other topic, he will again prompt us, no, don't. Stick on to this, stick on to this, stick on to this. You are all votaries of Nam. You have developed a taste. Now all that you have to do is to change its direction towards him. It is high time you do that. Otherwise you will be still on the surface level. Yesterday in the day for yesterday, Ravi had translated into Tamil a small booklet called Password to Divinity, Nama Chanting. A collection of Papa's various utterances on the divine name, and also bluntly says, very blunt. The person who just reads this, Ravi was telling yesterday, he may feel, what is the use of chanting? It is not like that. It was only to make us aware. Because he has also told that name is the panacea for everything. Name is the one which will not leave us even if we want to leave. Name will take us from stages to stage. Name will guide us, lead us, protect us. Then we try to look to our past experience and how it has saved, even without our knowing. We may not be knowing it, but we are chanting. We have developed a taste. We have a love and devotion for the name. We have faith in the words of our master. Every time, whether it is in Madras or in Bombay or in Bangalore or in ashram, wherever we go, what will be the main item? Chanting. That will be the main item. Even if we are going elsewhere, chanting will be going on. No? We may be talking, but still somewhere, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, automatically it will come. So Nama has slowly entered into us. We have not got the grip of it, that's all. So when Papa says, Papa only meant that we should have this right attitude. What is the right attitude? That he is making us to chant. If we are convinced, if the sense of individuality is purely convinced that it is he who is making us to chant, the sense of individuality will immediately recognize that he is behind all thoughts, all words, all deeds. So here again we have been assured. Something else comes here. So here again we are assured.
Somebody is presenting.
Eh?
Somebody is presenting. Hari Om, kindly stop presenting, please. Swamiji can continue.
They will hear,
Yes? No, no. Yes, stop.
Individual's free will is nothing but the feeling I am the doer. The idea of doership is however entirely false. How do we understand? He says it is false. To us it is true, I am talking. To me that is the truth. So when I start applying the mind on these words of the Master, then I can say that I am made to talk. If he is not there in me, in the form of life force, again to be more precise, in the form of the heartbeat, in the form of the breathing, in the form of the blood circulation, if the blood doesn't go to the brain, this beautiful setup called the body, with 200 odd organs working so efficiently, harmoniously, without trespassing into somebody's domain, without even knowing that all their concerted effort is going on. The brain is supervising the entire activities, and the brain draws the energy from what? So like that, suppose when we chant, the chanting is being done because of what? Because of the remembrance of the name, okay? So the brain is activating through the mouth. So he is there behind it. So that is why Papa says, when I say that I am chanting, it is false. It is false in the sense, if we really feel that we are chanting, we are the vibe, we have initiated the moment, we have launched the moment, we are active, we are taking part in it. Instead of thinking that he made us to do. So today he is bringing home this thrust to us that while you chant, try to bring home this. Yesterday when the translation we were hearing, he was hammering into it. That is why he said bluntly that if you think that you are chanting, even if you do it for 100 years, you will be there where you are. Instead, when somebody says your chanting was good, immediately I should feel that he made me to chant. He who is seated within me, that mysterious power, he has provided a wonderful opportunity or facilitated me to remember him through the name he has given. Name also was not given by me. The tune was not given by me. To us, Papa initiated the mantra. Papa got this because somebody else told him. That somebody got it because one sannyasi gave to him. You just think about it. We are chanting because we got initiation from Papa. Tape record. Okay. Papa, where from he got it? When he started chanting Ram Ram, his father came to him and initiated him. And what did he say at that time? He said, instead of chanting Ram Ram, you can chant Sri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, because that was the mantra given to me by a sannyasi who has assured me that we one will get peace. So the sannyasi, how did he get it? We don't know. Like this, he also would have got it from somebody only. So it goes on like our birth. So we go to that infinite. How the first name, first nama came, we don't know. So we attribute it to the unknown, uncaused cause, that unknown factor. So like that, suppose we keep on bringing these dimensions, we will be able to understand every word of Papa, who was extolled to heights about the glory of the divine name. And in his case, prior to taking up this, he was fully convinced about it. Especially we remember this Yoga Vasishtha. Where Vasishtha answers, after Rama places before the entire audience the transitoriness of the entire manifested world, and what is the use? What is it that I should aspire for? Tell me clearly. This is the word he asked. And then Vasishtha started telling something about this mysterious power. So Papa had that background, the mysterious power behind everything, and that mysterious power, when he added the faith and devotion to it, it came out in the form of chanting. Elsewhere he has written that after he met Mahatmaji for the first time in Mangalore, the first spiritual touch came from him. So Gandhiji was repeating Ram Ram. And Gandhiji, where from he got, when he was a child, naturally, on those days, there were a lot of stories about ghosts. So, whenever, he feels that he is going to be attacked by the ghosts, so his ayah told him that whenever you feel insecure, chant Ram. Ram, 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 Ram. Ram will protect you from everything. Beyond that, she did not say anything. But he took it directly, just like Papa took it directly from his father. He took it directly to his heart. And he says, even till this day, it stays with me. That has gone so deep into him, got stabilized. Though for a brief period, he was acting like an individual, subject to all cravings, desires, likes and dislikes, rights and wrongs. Just like Papa was passing through this particular period, he also had to pass through the trying period. And the instrumental cause was that when he was thrown out of the train in what is the place?
Peter,
No.
married Petersburg, something like that.
In a station. We went there. When we went to South Africa, we really went.
It is called some married Petersburg, something like
Peter,
that.
yeah, Peter. It was there. And then he was thrown out. Though he had a first class genuine ticket. Because a Britisher, a white man wanted to enter into the compartment. So he saw when a colored person was sitting, he asked the attendant to ask him to move. So Mohandas Karamchand, he said, I am a lawyer, I have bought the ticket, I am entitled to travel, and all those things he was telling. So the white man said, push him out. So they took all his bag and they waited for this Peter Marisburg.
Peter Marisburg.
So in that particular station, pushed him out. And there was a room where it has been written, where he was the whole night. That was the turning point. The instrumental cause for the transition from Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to the Mahatma Gandhi, started delving the whole night. He was delving deeper into it. So instead of feeling hatred towards the whites, he was able to raise himself to a higher stage. And he still fought for the discrimination meted out. But at the same time, never hatred, never any violent method, never a violent thought, never a violent action. That was unique. So later on he said the Nama was always with him. He felt completely secure in that Nama. he felt that he was guided by him. He was led by him. So when Papa says that was the first spiritual touch, he got from such a realized Mahatma, no? And then Papa started bringing out. That is why in In Quest of God you will find he brings out the name of Mahatma Gandhi, putting him on the pedestal of Lord Buddha, Lord Jesus and Mahatma Gandhi of our time. That's what he said. And then the first chapter, when he was making a mention about the books he was going through intensely, Bhagavad Gita, Light of Asia, New Testament, and Young India and Ethical Religion of Mahatma Gandhi. So all these things we remembered because the name. Let us concentrate on that. So we will reread Papa's words. We will reread Papa's words on the glory of the Divine Name. Then we will come to know with this background that he was very clear. He wants every one of us also to make it clear that the Nama we chant is because of the mysterious power that is behind it. That is the take-home message for all of us. So let us all try to keep it as much as possible. Hold on to it with all faith and devotion. Never leave it, even if we hear anything else, even if anything happens in it. With steadfastness, with unshakable faith, we will hold on. Let us hold on to it with a prayer to Him to make us hold on. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram